Thank you for attending our first webhosting.info webinar after our relaunch. I'm Anish Banerjee and I manage product and marketing activities at webhosting.info. After relaunching the entire brand in July 2015, the response that we've had from the industry has been absolutely fantastic. We've had folks from different verticals and businesses tell us how pleased they are to see us filling a large information gap in the industry and helping people make better decisions by being empowered through knowledge. We've seen a huge growth, not only in the number of unique visitors, but the features that we're adding over time as well. Our goal is to become the source of intelligence about the web services industry, and any suggestions that you have about how we can improve in our quest would be greatly welcome. We plan on providing you with a great deal of useful, relevant, and enlightening content that helps you and your business, and we're pleased to start this series of webinars with Weebly. I can't tell you how pleased that we are and how great it is to have Weebly on board to tell you about their amazing offerings and how they are enabling web hosts around the world boost their profit margins through apps. We have Chris Sheridan with us, who is head of channel sales at Weebly. Chris began his career with VeriSign Registry, where he managed the top ICANN accredited registrars in North America and Europe. And after 9 years with VeriSign, Chris joined Enorm as Vice President of Business Development. Before I invite Chris to speak, though, I'd like to hand over the session to JR Miller, who manages web content at cPanel, and to tell us a little bit about apps on the cPanel platform. Take it away, JR.
Thank you so much. So when it comes to web hosting, I think cPanel WHM has remained kind of the standard for hosting and web automation throughout the globe on Linux servers. And with millions of sites being launched per year using cPanel and WHM, the ecosystem of site owners, hosting providers, and for the purposes of this webinar, third-party app developers, it's not only expansive, but our offerings in terms of apps and plugins continues to grow. cPanel and WHM, for those that don't know, it's just a simple point and click. It has simple point and click functionality and makes the duties that come with being a hosting provider much easier, from creating accounts for potential users looking for hosting, and site creation is made simple. Monitoring your server is intuitive, and in the cases where hosting providers need to migrate information from one machine to another, cPanel and WHM really does shine when it comes to migrations. Now, if you go into the next slide, what makes cPanel and WHM such a powerful tool is the fact that the popularity of the product has developed a whole entire community, almost a world of third-party applications that not only augment the cPanel experience, but it allows hosting providers of various sizes the chance to save time, protect their machines, and enhance their customers' experience. Now, for example, we have the Weebly website builder, and on the next slide, and the Weebly website builder is a really nifty tool for hosting providers and website owners to quickly launch clean and beautiful sites from behind a really simple content management system. Now, this tool, along with over 500 other third-party applications and plugins, create and comprise the growing list of widgets and additions that optimize the web hosting process. So, whether you're looking to enhance your server security or optimize resource utilization on your machine, or just offer an amazing website builder to your customers, the cPanel application catalog tends to have what you need. As a part of cPanel, we recommend that you head out and peruse through that application catalog and look at some of our most popular offerings, like the Weebly website builder. But we also encourage you to take some time to just kind of look around the web at the countless open source technology groups that are creating tools for hosting on Linux-based servers for cPanel and WHM that is geared at providing a way for hosting providers to save time as well as money. And that's kind of like the whole point of cPanel WHM, and it's the whole point of this conversation with Weebly going on right now. And that's kind of like a brief overview of what cPanel does, as well as the breadth of applications and offerings that we have. And I can hand it off to Chris now that'll go a little bit more into Weebly's offerings.
Yes, thank you, JR. And thank you, Anish. It's really great to be here today. In January of 2015, when we launched our program, so our program is just over a year old now, it was very important for us in January of 2015 to make sure that before we launched a Weebly app, that we made sure that we had built the module for the cPanel marketplace. And we did that for two reasons. One is because we really recognize the footprint that cPanel has among the hosting community. They truly are a trusted provider of solutions to hosters of all sizes. And then secondly, it's really important for us, it was really important for us to build a cPanel module because it makes it easy for everybody on the phone to integrate Weebly and get to market faster. So I want to really thank JR again and Anish for setting up this conference. And what I want to do today is begin with some trends that we're seeing in the website industry. And then we'll go into deeper detail about how apps can really help growth. And growth for us is a huge demand we're hearing from our customers around the globe, that in 2016 they're very focused on growth as a key initiative in their hosting business. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So some basic background on Weebly. Today we manage 30 million customers worldwide. These are active users on the Weebly platform. On every month, we handle roughly 280 million unique page views across our network. And then these are two key interesting statistics here. Every 3 seconds, someone publishes a site at Weebly. So what does that mean? That this is a combination of people making changes, adding photos, publishing a new blog post. And this 3 seconds really gives you a signal on how engaged consumers are today in their website. That once they purchase it from you, they're spending lots of time inside that website. And from our perspective, we're seeing every 3 seconds a change pushed to the internet. And then finally, another interesting stat. Every 46 seconds at Weebly, we see a small business website built. Now that's pretty incredible because I think the major overlap across all of us on the phone today is that we want to bring SMBs online and allow them an easy method to start their business. And from our unique perspective in the marketplace, what we see today is that every 46 seconds, a small business customer is going online. And when I look at those two stats, 3 seconds and 46 seconds, my main message for everybody on the phone today is we should be really excited about this opportunity because we're seeing lots of engagement and we're seeing lots of opportunity. Even today in 2016, there's lots and lots of opportunity in the SMB space. So this is pretty great, really excited. So let's talk about that a little bit more, the SMB opportunity. This is from an App Direct report. There are 240 million SMBs worldwide, 240 million. But less than 60% of them have a web or mobile presence. Less than 60% have a web or mobile presence. And what I really like about this statistic is the type of customer that this is signaling to all of us on the phone. This is a customer that is currently on the sidelines right now with no web presence, no mobile presence, and is still figuring out what's the best way to get online. And what I love about that customer is that that is a net new customer for all of you on the phone. What this statistic is not saying, what this is not about, is this isn't about stealing market share from somebody else. This is about a net new evergreen opportunity for all of us to reach out to those customers and find the main method to bring them online. And I think we would all agree that that main method is beginning with a website offering. And so to me, this is really a huge opportunity. And again, customers like that who have no online presence, where we're not trying to steal market share, those customers are the best ladder to big growth in your hosting company. So I want to share another trend that's going on, right? Because we're seeing lots of engagement with websites. We're seeing SMBs come online at the rate of every 46 seconds at Weebly. We still see millions of SMBs on the sidelines. with no site. But what else are consumers doing? Well, it turns out that search is changing. And I want to share with you a study that we did with Google, focused on the United States, across all devices. And what we looked at was search behavior between non-branded keywords and branded keywords. So what's a non-branded keyword? Site builder would be a non-branded keyword. Website builder would be a non-branded keyword. Website creator. So those are non-branded keywords. And what we noticed last year is that when consumers went and looked for a website creator, they are using those non-branded keywords less. So what are they using today when they think about getting online? They're actually leaning more towards branded keywords. Words like Weebly, words like WordPress, brands like Squarespace, right? And I think if I'm on the phone today and I'm thinking about growth and I'm thinking about capturing this market, this tells me one important detail. And I think what this stat really is focusing on is the concept of branded versus white labeled offerings, right? Because as hosts, as all of us on the phone, we have an option. We can try to build our own website creator. We can try to go down the path of a white label creator. And what kind of responsibility does that put on our shoulders? That means you have the responsibility to market and create a brand around that website builder, right? And that might be a tough market to go into. Versus alternatively, when you look at those branded keywords, do any of those providers offer you a co-branded option? And Weebly does. And what I would say to you is that this co-branded option allows you to get your fair share of these searches, because even though the behavior is changing here, it doesn't mean the growth opportunity isn't available to you. What it does mean is this: when people, what we believe based on this data is that when people search for a website builder and they go to your company and they look at your offering and they see a website builder solution powered by Weebly on your site, they recognize Weebly as a website leader, and thus they trust you more that you're delivering them a great product, and thus we believe you have a higher chance of conversion and you have the higher chance of onboarding a customer. And so I wanted to share that with you, that we see the market shifting away from people, and we see this kind of a more inherent focus now on co-branded. And I think this represents a lot of opportunity, and I think it gives you a chance again to make sure that you're getting your fair share of sales and your fair share of conversions in 2016. I want to share just two other statistics to you, though, because one side we're looking at how people explore and search for website creators. But on the flip side, there's two other key trends happening in the online landscape. And the first is e-commerce. So let's take a look. According to a report conducted by Forrester, mobile payments in the US alone will generate $142 billion. This may not come as a surprise to a lot of us, but the emphasis we're trying to make here is that heading into 2016, when people search, we see what words they're using, but when it comes to features, e-commerce is quickly rising to the top, and this makes sense. The feature set of e-commerce solutions is becoming more critical now because we're targeting SMBs, and they're going to measure your business. They're going to measure your solution by how strong the e-commerce offering is. So that's point number two. But point number one. And then point number two, what else is factoring into their decision making? Well, mobile. Specifically, purchases made via tablet or smartphone increased 48% year over year, 3 times the growth in desktop purchasing. So the short story there is mobile is key. But the bigger picture is this. What we are discovering and what is being reinforced at Weebly, month over month, quarter over quarter, and it's coming really to the surface in 2016, is that SMBs realize they need to be found on mobile devices, and that this is now not just a nice to have, but it's critical. It's critical to their success. So when they go to your company and they look at your offerings, they're going to measure us by e-commerce solutions, and they're going to measure us by mobile functionality. And I would submit that to you today in terms of growth and how you're kind of forming your strategic roadmap, that these are two key things we need to have on the list for success. So let's round this out on mobile, because I just want to spend a few seconds talking about how we look at mobile at Weebly and how that applies to your business today. So again, let's begin with some statistics. 82% of users say they use mobile search to find a local business. Now that's pretty amazing. And that reinforces why we see this desire and very strong demand by SMBs to be mobile compatible, to be mobile ready, and to live and have their site resolve well across all mobile devices. And this makes sense. If they can't, if your business, if your offering at your hosting company can't help them resolve correctly, can't help them be found on a certain device, then they can't succeed in their business. And so this number is only going to go in one direction, up. And 82% is pretty big to begin with. And then we look internally at Weebly's business, at our own website creator business, and what do we see? Traffic to the Weebly network of sites, we are seeing 44% of traffic to the Weebly network of sites comes from a mobile device. Now last year, when we launched the Weebly program, that number in March of last year was 33%. And now we fast forward to March of 2016, and it's 44%. So even in our own business, we are seeing this trend reflected. And again, it's going in one direction, up. And this number, of course, will increase quarter over quarter, and it will become more instrumental as part of our strategic focus. So in conclusion, it's not surprising that more than half of SMBs plan to invest in mobile solutions in the next year. And for me, when we take a step back, when we were talking to hosts last year and we're talking to resellers like yourself on the phone today, some resellers see this kind of acceleration of mobile as a hurdle, as something that they're trying to manage across all the aspects of their business: domain names, email addresses, storage, dedicated servers, shared hosting, VPS. But really, under the right circumstances, this should not be a hurdle to growth. This should be a competitive advantage. And so I would like to specify to you today, kind of make this a little bit more specific, how does this become a competitive advantage to you? Well, the very first thing is, if we all agree on the phone today that the website offering is core to our business, and we do agree that it's strategic, then obviously we need to get serious about mobile. So I would like to submit to you today 3 specific ideas on how you structure your mobile plan. So the first one is, in your website offering, you must offer responsive designs. 2 years ago, responsive designs were a nice to have, believe it or not. 2 years ago, as recently as 2 years ago, they were just a nice to have. They were another bullet point on a laundry list of features. But if you fast forward to today, March of 2016, it is critical that you offer responsive designs. And responsive design means that your website, the theme, will resolve correctly across any mobile device. But more importantly, One other thing I would share with you that we learned last year, and we take very seriously at Weebly, is that you should not put any additional labor on the consumer to further mobilize, if you will, their website. So responsive designs are a must-have. They are necessary to be successful in selling your product, and there should be no additional work for the end user. They should be able to easily, it should just come built in, and it should just work. So that's point number one. Point number two, mobile apps. It is very critical now in this day and age that you have an iOS and Android strategy. And what do I mean by that? Weebly has an app that we've built for the Apple App Store where people can download that to their mobile device, whether it's a tablet or a phone, and they can edit their website. And the same exists on Android. And this becomes very important too, right? Because the website solutions typically start out as a desktop solution. But as we reviewed, we have much more emphasis on mobile now. We have a much larger desire by SMBs to be found on phones, to be found on tablets, and as a result, they would like to manage their site naturally on a phone or tablet. So this is critical. It's responsive themes complemented by a very robust app offering, mobile app offering specifically, iOS and Android. But I do want to share with you one other interesting point that we've learned last year specifically. And this is point number 3. What has changed in the last 2 years with mobile apps? Mobile apps were originally created for one purpose, to allow your customers to edit their website. And even then, when they had that ability, they only had about, let's say, 50% of the edit options available to them that were available on the desktop. And so there's been 2 major shifts that I want to make sure as resellers and hosting companies we're all aware of. The first shift is that the editing capabilities of these apps are at parity with the desktop version. Now that sounds like great news. Wow, that's amazing. But that's a lot of work. That's incredible, actually, that you can have a desktop experience completely replicated from an editing point of view on your phone. That's how fast the market's evolving in that specific feature. But on point number 3, where this is going, where the market's going, is that you can now create websites off of tablets. And Weebly introduced that functionality in May of last year. And this is pretty amazing. This is reflective of 2 things about your customers, the customers you're serving today. As they migrate more to mobile, their sole access to the internet is sometimes limited to that device. So being able to provide them the ability to create a website off a tablet becomes mandatory, not optional. And that's happening today. And if you think about the change that reflects at a broader level, if we just take a step back a little bit, what this means is we're shifting away from desktop here. Slowly, it's not a huge shift, but over time, as each month goes by, we're kind of getting further and further away from this right here, which is the desktop experience, and we're migrating more and more and more to the mobile experience for everything, creating the site, editing the site, selling products off the mobile device, doing customer service off the mobile device. It's all becoming mobile. And I included here on this screen 2 things. This is actually a real picture of our iOS app. And I included the Apple Watch here because this is something, when we talk about responsive designs and we talk about mobile apps working across every device, SMBs will tell you they expect their business to work on the watch. A lot of people think of that as, oh, I need to be phone ready, I need to be tablet ready. And what I would say to you is, you need to be everything ready. And this is an actual real view of Weebly's app working on the Apple Watch. And that's what we've come to discover, is that consumers demand this. It's not nice to have. It's not a feature. It's not something they consider optional. It's something they expect to see, right? So those are the three kind of points I would like to propose to you as part of your mobile strategy. And then just at a broader level, the market's moving. The market is migrating away from a desktop experience, and each year we're going to get closer and closer and closer to a full-blown kind of mobile experience where everything is just done on the mobile device. So the last piece to kind of bring this all home that I want to cover is what JR alluded to earlier, which is the kind of the introduction of marketplaces. And, all of us on the phone, we're in the hosting space. We're in the reseller space. We sell domains, we sell email, we sell storage, we sell backups, right? And we're very accustomed to marketplaces. Now, JR's company, cPanel, they manage a large marketplace. And they're giving third-party providers the ability to productize their service and make it easy for you to launch. And who else does this? WHMCS. WHMCS has a marketplace. And they have the same reasoning. They want to make it easy for you to launch products through their offering. And Weebly does the same too. We believe very strongly in this concept. And, let's start with the basic concept, right? We opened up a marketplace. As you can see here, we've invited upwards of 100 third-party apps to come in. They've productized their service so that it fits inside of Weebly, and it makes it very easy for customers of websites to add these products to their website. And I think that's the basic concept of an app marketplace, right? Is when you think about your website creator offering, this is becoming par for the course. There's the basic functionality of a website. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to add my pictures and my photos. I'm going to start writing my blog. But consumers do expect to have some type of app experience with you. And they want access to other tools to make their site more robust. And so for me, this has now become not an option. This is, in our view, mandatory. It should be a mandatory part of your offering. And of course, just operationally, it's critical, right? It allows you to partner with so many more companies quickly and go to market faster, right? So that to me is like the baseline opportunity with an app store. But how is that changing, right? Because things are changing, and there's a shift happening in the app store that I would propose is, in some people's eye, might look at as another hurdle, another foe. But for me, this change in the app marketplace is your friend. And that is kind of two things. There is much more deeper integration of the app stores now in these website builders. Now look at this screenshot here. This is an example again of our app store. This is, I'm logged into the editor, I'm prepared to edit my site, and as you can see on the left-hand side here, we're calling out some featured apps. I have a link to the App Center here, and I have a button called My Apps. That takes me directly to my apps that I'm using on my site. This is a change. This deep integration, this tight knitting of the apps right in the user interface, which really drives usage, which really drives downloads, which drives so much more usage of the site. And why is that good for all of us on the phone? Why is that good for resellers today who want growth in 2016? It's good for two reasons. One, every time they download an app and they use it on their site, they are less likely to cancel with you. It is more difficult now for them to leave you. And that's a good thing for all of us. That is a direct way to fight churn. But number two, what is this also signaling? It's signaling usage. It's signaling the need for other tools for them to manage their site. And sometimes, and this is, I think, makes logical sense, that means they're so engaged in their website that they need apps, and that also is a great signal that they're going to be coming back to you for other services as well, that they may need, like domain names or more email addresses or other security features. So the App Store is a great tool for growth. And this type of deep, sophisticated knitting directly into the editor is a great way, is important. You should confirm that as you look at website solutions that this type of exposure to the apps is that present. But what else is changing? So it's getting deeper, the visibility is higher, the ease of use is getting even simpler and simpler and simpler, but what else is changing? Web hosts today, I would say to you, in 2016, web hosts today are getting more sophisticated on building on top of platforms. So what do I mean by that? If we take a step back, some people look at the website builder business as a simple tool to build a website. That is the incorrect way of looking at the business. The way the business should be looked at today is that a website builder is a platform. It's a platform that delivers a website, but it delivers mobile experiences, it delivers a sophisticated, robust app store, and this is the big change I'm seeing, web hosts, resellers, can now develop their own apps on top of these platforms. So you're a reseller on the phone today. You have the ability to develop apps, and you have a product that you sell today that you would like exposed, for example, in the Weebly editor. Well, you can do that. You can build an app today, and it can be deployed inside the Weebly editor, such that your web host app, your reseller app, is right here. And what does that mean, it's right here? It means it's in front of every eyeball that logs into this editor. It lives there persistently. They see it, no matter what time they log in. They can grab it. They can drag and drop it onto the site, and guess what? It seamlessly just works. And this is what I really love about 2016 in terms of growth. This changes things. I think it changes things specifically in a marketing point of view. Because what are you doing today? You have this product over here. Chris, this product is great. I think it's really complementary to Weebly. And so how am I going to market it in the old way? The old way was I'm going to send emails. I'm going to advertise it. I'm going to recommend that people buy it and use it in conjunction with their website. That's how we do things in the legacy way of doing things. But with this change, you now have the ability to take that product. You productize it as an app using the developer APIs from Weebly, right? And you put it inside the editor now. And to me, that's the greatest form of marketing. Guaranteed positioning in front of every eyeball that logs in to build their site. And to me, it's a shift in the way we look at selling and marketing and upselling value-added services. To me, the app ecosystem, the new method to traditional marketing tools, it's the new way to raise visibility and have successful marketing of your key complementary value-added services that make total sense to live on a website. So, in summary, we have 60 million plus customers sitting on the sidelines. Even in 2016, they're still on the sidelines. No website, no online presence, and these customers represent the greatest opportunity for your business because, like I said earlier, we are not stealing market share. You are adding true net new customers to your business. Number two, consumer behavior is changing. And the decision now is, do I really want to go down a white label path, or does it make more sense to go down a co-branded path to ensure that I'm in front of all those eyeballs that are searching every day for a website builder and that I'm getting my fair share of sales? Mobile as we discussed, is changing. We're moving away from the desktop. We're going down a more mobile path, and websites are now being created solely off of tablets. The question is your hosting company going to be able to address that trend and make it a competitive advantage for you? And then lastly, the App Store. Not a hurdle. Actually, probably it's bigger than making other services available to your customer. It's about you potentially productizing your products that make sense and marketing them in a completely different way. So in short, growing customers in 2016. We have the upsell opportunity, we have mobile, we have the App Store, we have numerous reasons they should join you for a web hosting site, or sorry, for a website creator. Number two, mobile is the trend. This is the direction the market's going. So people are going to use that as the measuring stick when they come to your product page. What is it responsive? Is there an app? Can I create websites with you? And then finally, where are these people going at the end of the day? And the reason we opened the reseller program was because we believe they go to hosts. They have a domain with you, they have hosting with you, they have storage with you. So they always go to the host as their first attempt to see what's available. And I think that's great. And that's why I'm excited about the reseller program, because that's why we opened it. We wanted to make sure we could put you in a position to address the mobile, the app, and all the other changes in the website industry, because you're really the best position to offer that to them. And I think the website creator has a unique advantage across other products, right? If you're going to put your energy behind you have a tough decision. I can put my energy behind a lot of different products. The reason I suggest to you that you put a lot of the energy behind the website creator is because I think it has such a positive impact on all the value-added services you guys manage. Specifically, if I have a website, I need a domain name, which is provided by you. I need it to be hosted, which is provided by you. And I need these other services, which are ultimately like SSL certificates that are provided by you. And I feel like there's very few products that you can look at and you could double down on that have that type of secondary impact on your value-added services, primarily in the form of renewals. If I use a website, it means I'm probably going to have to renew my domain name as well. I love that direct correlation. So, in conclusion, I see a lot of growth opportunities in 2016.